It's Saturday morning, 7 TV. There is Karl, and here is me. Ha ha!
Morning.
Alright, sunshine, how's it going?
I don't know what that was. Was that Welsh?
I'm not really sure if it was anything. I'm trying these days to go for nondescript accents so as to offend nobody or everybody in the one go.
You were sort of in the Dick Van Dyke area there, I think.
I think you'll find you're not even allowed to call him Dick Van Dyke anymore.
Penis Van Dyke?
It's still sort of, applying a gender there, and even the surname is questionable. It'll not be long before we're tearing down the statues of him too.
I don't know if he's a minefield or whether he's just embracing everybody.
I reckon that guy is blessed with a name that probably in another 20 years it'll be a controversy. We'll only be able to refer to him by his initials.
DVD?
Yeah.
Magnificent. Again, technologically ahead of his time. You seem to be drinking out of a paint tester pot this morning.
No, this is one of my refined espresso cups, young man, with a
little shiny thing.
Yes, with a double strength 10, a double shot of espresso in it.
Jesus.
Somebody's trying to ring me from a number I don't recognise. If you're calling me from 01780, please stop. I will send you a message to say that I can't talk right now. There we go.
We should get your mum on one week.
No, it wasn't my mum this time. Hence, you didn't hear the klaxon.
Mother in the building.
Yeah, it used to be the Imperial March, but there's too many people who do that as their ringtone from me now.
Can't go wrong with that one.
Yeah, yeah. So hey, what do you think? Doesn't it look spanglier?
I'm in a dungeon.
You're in your dungeon.
Look at that. That's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that we've got branded logos and everything.
Now, I have noticed one little flaw. This business, when we still go live, I still get you as a small picture and me now as a big picture above you. But I can do a little surgery. I can fix that for next week properly. But there's a little surgery now just to make you look a bit neater.
I've got a wee Andy hat on.
Not anymore. You don't. It'll disappear now in a second. Learning all these cropping things, but the most important thing that I've learned now, again, real life and all the rest of it. If I do this here and literally press a button, pictures now appear on the screen without me panicking and looking for things.
Oh,
again, reality, they'll appear in a minute or two. Just
yeah, I've seen it. Oh, it's the Mannix twins.
One of my other streaming friends has said to me, yes, you are quite right. The stream always falls a little bit behind. He says, so what you have to kind of do is plan for what you're going to be showing so that it's appearing and it's going to take a few seconds to appear. So you just go ahead and press the button to make it appear. And then when you see it appear, you kind of worked your sentence up to that point. I'm going, okay.
We've got so much to learn, haven't we?
Well, it suggests the idea that you and I have a script.
That's hilarious.
I loved his optimism.
If people knew what we were doing literally about 30 seconds before it came in, which was making coffee.
Yeah. If we were pre-recording this instead of the raw live footage where we can say things like Dick Van Dyke, then yes, we could legislate for.
You suggesting if we were pre-recording it would be more professional. I doubt that very much. I question that.
Probably if we tried doing this after you and I had our 5th morning coffee, you know what? We'd be on fire. The world couldn't actually cope.
Well, see, you've proved that with 12 hours of live streaming. You've shown the quality curve of Andy over an extended period now.
It's not good, sure it's not.
congratulations, £1,200.
Well, congratulations to you also, sir. Well done to us both.
I just even looked pretty. I didn't do anything.
You sponsored said event with your beautiful secret base.
You've been having fun. I've seen you've got set designer out this week, and you've been cladding walls and all sorts.
Dude, I have been rocking it.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Nobody likes wallpapering, so I think that's
Yeah, and it's literally all the base
yes.
is done. Everything is done now.
All clad in bits and pieces.
All the walls, all the bits are all done. That's been an interesting learning curve. Because I've learned I hate PVA glue and paper. Spray glue and paper works fine. The PVA glue kind of messed up the ink in the paper.
Yeah, there's so much moisture in it, and it just kind of bleeds through and
Yeah.
and do it. Spray it. Make sure you're in an open space if you're spray gluing.
Well, I know that now.
But were you high as a kite for a couple of days?
Yes, I was. I was
It's not very
exceptionally.
good for you.
I was plucking the flowers off the wallpaper.
We used to have a spray booth back in the day, back in studio, where you'd have to put your hand in and do it so that you didn't breathe in the carcinogenic fumes.
Well, you see, harking back to my days of GW, I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't have lungs anymore anyway, because we didn't really get guidance.
Yeah.
You know, so we just stood out the back of the shop in a corridor spraying stuff.
Yeah.
But it's all fine. It's all fine. It's all done. So no, and you sir have inspired me to take a stab into the dark, because you talked about all the little coloured pencils and doing the little computer screens and TV monitors.
Yeah.
So I have ordered for myself, and a first for me, I have ordered AK Interactive watercolour pencils.
Okay. I can't remember the set that I've got. Yeah.
Probably a set from Home Bargains.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes. But they're quite good. They're handy for that, and the like the rattle pens that you get. You normally get silver ones.
Rattle pens. Oh yes, I remember those from the 80s.
One in here. I have one in there, but I can't find it now. Yeah, like the super felt tip pens are pretty good as well, but they bloom out a little bit more with the paint.
Fair enough.
But they're pretty good.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna undercoat. I think I'm gonna undercoat everything furniture wise white and work from there. But also, I'll give you another big debt of thanks, because you did make me sit down and rewatch all of The Prisoner.
Yeah, there's plenty of bits in there.
It's class. Though I didn't appreciate that the running order of the episodes is not considered to be the proper running order for the show.
Yeah, there is that, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, they're out of sequence. So there's a guy on YouTube who's actually got them all listed in viewing order.
Viewing order. Yeah, I think I remember. Did Magoon or something have some fight with them about the broadcast? I can't remember. There is a story attached to that, but I can't quite remember what it is.
Yeah, because I didn't appreciate he actually wrote and directed quite a few of the episodes himself.
It's very much his baby, I think.
Yeah, and he's class about the last episode. Him and the wife had to flee for a fortnight to Wales, because after the last episode aired, they literally said people were coming and hammering on his door. They were so annoyed.
Yeah.
And it was all, well, he says, well, that's because it didn't end like a James Bond film.
Yeah.
And that's his final word on it.
No, it's bold, I think, is the best word for it. But you don't get really stuff made like that much these days.
No, there's not. No, because everything has too much exposition. Everything has to be explained.
It all goes, yeah. That's why I kind of Westworld sort of taken off in the third series, but the first one, it doesn't explain anything to you. So sit down and work it out, and I quite like that.
Yeah, and I think it's bold now and good for a show to literally go, do you know what? you try and figure out, oh, that thing that happened that episode, we're never referring to it again. You're on your own.
You know, my friend has started watching Dark on Netflix.
Oh,
it's a
yes.
German thing, right? And I watched the first series, and then I watched the first episode of the second series. But literally, you need a crime board in front of you with photographs of everybody at the different time periods that they're in. Because I find it really difficult. You've really got to sit there and go, and concentrate on it.
But you brought him the clock that you wanted him to make, and now you're telling him to not make it. What?
So that's Jonas in that time period, but that's older Jonas from that one. But that's him from the future who's come back from the past and has now gone into the future. It's there. There's string involved. It's like Heroes Room in whatever his name is in Heroes.
Yeah.
It's
see, that's that. You know that the Krister and the Troubleshooters. That's how I literally, when I run that as an RPG, if my players are not putting a poster on the wall and trying to do string between clues, I'm not running that right as far as I'm concerned. That's how I want that game to go. But
17 was a little bit like that when we did it as a kind of an RPG, a little bit. Helena got fed loads of clues and letters and stuff from people.
Class. That's what it's about. That's what it should be about. And yeah, start treating people like they're smarter and giving them stuff to figure out, and people will get to be smarter again. And then their attention span will last longer, and we'll fix the fix.
Well, look at that shiny. Sorry, my attention span just wandered there. I do apologize.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. There's another one you should check out actually on Netflix. It's not the same sort of thing, but I find a lot of the foreign shows are a bit more clever. But there's one I've been watching. Is it The Frozen Dead? I think it's The Frozen Dead.
Is it? Oh, okay, I'm writing that down.
I think it's The Frozen Dead. It's this kind of bummed out detective, and he's sent to Austria or something to investigate this murder. And there's like a Hannibal Lecter type character in the sanatorium who's still managing to do stuff, and you can't fathom how he could possibly be doing it. And there's like, I think it starts with something killed at the top of a ski lift.
Really? Ski lift death. That's original.
The ski lift of death. Ooh, there's what 7TV needs. We need to get a ski lift.
Yeah.
Anyway, you've got a big fancy Zoom thing to do at 11, so we can't do this meandering conversation thing today.
Well, today was meant to be the 7TV day that War Games Illustrated used to organise over at Foundry. Of course, we can't get together, so one of the guys, Sean, has organised a big Zoom thing at 11 o'clock. So yeah, I'll be,
class.
Be going for a bit. So
well, let's stay focused so that you can get done, and then you can go and you can have some toast and some tea and be all refreshed for your 7TV virtual day then. Yeah, with your new Vidal Sassoon hair.
Oh God, I can't wait to get rid of this. Drive me spare.
Don't you all think Karl's hair looks lovely today compared to most other weekends, doesn't it? It's got a sheen, it's got form, he looks like a 14-year-old Harry Potter.
I need a little cat, a little school cat to go over the top of it. A little Cubs hat or something.
Yeah, or one of those ones with rotor blades on the top.
Where can you get those? I want one of those now.
Amazon. No, Wish.com. That's where you'll get that.
I wanted one of those, and I also wanted, the umbrella hat.
Yeah.
Class. I want one of them.
I see you now with an umbrella with rotors and 2 cans.
Well, that's the ultimate hat, that is. Ultimate hat.
Yep. Oh, and a little electric fan as well for if you get warm. Or maybe just the umbrella could rotate to keep you cool.
I put it on and then just fall over.
Next week, watch Karl as he orders neck supports. Anyway, 7TV, stop distracting me from talking about your product. I love this. Most weeks we finish with a little surrender because, yeah, did we even talk about 7TV? I went, well, I tried to.
We're distracting man. I do apologise.
I'm starting to think that I'm actually your avenue for like a normal conversation that doesn't have to involve work. Hey, maybe that's what we should actually start doing. Maybe on a Saturday morning, we should actually talk about other games that we like the odd time.
God, we don't even talk about their own ones.
It's just a thought that maybe this is secretly what your subconscious wants to do.
A destructive personality. Is that what you're saying?
Karl's sitting there going, "Oh God, I wanted to be a traffic warden, but this took off, and now I'm stuck selling toy soldiers for the rest of my life." That's why that traffic warden miniature got such love and attention to detail for 70B Apocalypse. It's you.
It doesn't say crooked dice. It says help me.
So if any local councils out there are currently looking people to monitor their traffic, give Karl a shout on 0800 help me, I want a change of direction. Why are you doing a lollipop man?
What? That's true. Yeah, traffic warden's got a little book and a little.
Sorry, right, yeah. Not lollipop man.
I'm happy with the lollipop man.
Not a lollipop man. Crossing attendant.
Is it? No,
something like that. Yeah, I think if you're a bloke, you're a lollipop man, and if you're a lady, you're a lollipop lady, and if you're annoyed, it's a crossing patrol officer.
I think if you're annoyed, it's probably choice of words than that.
Oh, I've been called plenty because I had to deputise and do that at my school when ours decided to retire.
Get the cross now thing.
Oh, I was physically assaulted.
Crossing the road?
No, I was doing the patrol officer thing, and there's the zigzag lines. You're not allowed to park on them, and this guy would regularly just pull up on them, get out, and like he was built like a house door. And I went over. I said, "Look, you keep doing this, but you're going to have to move." "Oh, what are you going to do?" Well, I'm not going to do his accent because people would suggest that I was being madly racist. Suffice to say, he wasn't local, but he was. He lives in the community and all the rest of it. And he was not one bit happy, so he went and moved his vehicle, then came down and proceeded to try and take the pole off me to batter me with it. When that didn't work, because much to his surprise, my grip was amazingly good, he decided to try and put me into a headlock.
Escalated quite quickly, doesn't it, at the school crossing? I didn't realise it was quite as dangerous as that.
One would imagine that this gentleman might have had, if he was in a TV show, one would well imagine that he was related to an underground crime syndicate. That was the kind of personality that was had.
You were getting
yeah, but it was quite cool when this other fella, because I was doing my best to get out of it and it wasn't happening. This other fella just stepped up and literally had his warrant card and pushed it into the guy's face. And just went, "I suggest you let go of him now, or my day off is going to change rapidly." We just joking.
Just joking. Yeah. The old jokey headlock.
Yeah, the old let's knock this guy's pan in for a laugh. How we dig things in there. Anyway, right. You see, you've done it again. You've all seen it. You've all seen it. We were on target, and Karl went off mountain again. This is what happens. So, Karl, on the screen for the past 10 minutes, everyone's been looking at your new Apocalypse figures. Would you like to tell us about your two new Apocalypse figures?
I would. They are the Mannix twins, Maddie and Max, who I have acquired. They were sculpted by Drew Williams. And I bought them off Mark Elster, who had been produced previously. And they're very nice. They're nice indeed. So we've got a couple of post-apocalyptic, what they got? Shotguns, I think they've got in there as well. Yeah. Painted by Simon Bradley, probably out August, September, maybe.
Excellent. I get a very strong Dark Future vibe off them.
Yes, yeah, that's why I like them. A good retro look to both of them. So I thought they would they work a treat. And Drew is now working on some fancy stuff for me as well because he's a very talented man.
Well, speaking of fancy stuff, and an opportune moment to test out this new theory that was thrown at me the other day, which hasn't worked because it's taken longer than I thought it would, but it has now. Speaking of fantasy, we like this guy.
Oh, right. We need, like Kev Adams is like the Goblin Master. We need to get a similar moniker for Mr. James Sheriff. I'm going with Bones at the moment, but he's done. We've got 3 packs of skeletons that he's done for us so far. This is the Mace Champion from a set of 4 Mace carrying ones that we're going to have, and he's also done 4 Axemen as well. A couple of those you've seen. And he started on some archers. We're going to have 8 archers, including the kind of a champion archer as well. So we're going to have loads. Oh, there's the Mace ones. So see what you've done. See what you've done. Yeah. And I just love them. There's loads of them. They've got loads of character and they're really old school. I know you can get plastic ones and you'll probably be able to get plastic ones cheaper, but these are just great. There's loads.
In recent surveys, what I have been watching on the various discussion groups and that, it does seem that metal miniatures still hold a much higher place in people's hearts than plastics. I've
never really done plastics. I've done bigger kits. I mean, I had the classic Citadel skeletons and those kind of things in there, but I've always gravitated towards the metal bits, and that's what the business does, kind of niche, old school, retro kind of stuff in there, so it fits in nicely. It's just a lot of money to invest in plastics. You want to get lots of variety and stuff. It's great, but it's a big upfront cost.
But you know, that's fair enough. But I mean, I think there still is this thing where the boys and girls are love of metal, and you're fulfilling that niche. Lovely. There's your little skeleton horde.
So that's got, I think, the 2 sets that we did of kind of the Skeletons 1 and Skeletons 2. I can see a little spearman in the back there as well, because we just did one of those to start off with as a test. So we've got, it's got to be about 24, I suppose. So you can get yourself a little skeleton horde. But I think character is where I'm trying to go for those. Not that I'm sure some of those plastic kits don't have it, but you can just get a lot more character.
Listen, I mean, Cy and Justy will be, in fact, pretty much everybody at the bunker will be quite quick to tell you that my love of fantasy, I used to have huge fantasy armies. And then one day, something broke. I don't know. And I literally got rid of them all and had nothing to do with fantasy. Didn't even play D&D for huge periods of time and stuff. Your stuff, and you know me well enough now to know that hot air and blowing it up your derriere is not my cup of tea. Your fantasy stuff has me wanting to do fantasy again.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
Yeah. And you know, obviously my purchase alone will be enough to keep a roof over your head, so you should be indebted to me for forever. But no,
we'll call it the Andy Annex that we build on the Bodycooker Towers.
Yeah,
it'd be lovely.
Absolutely. a small turret to the corner with a flag will be quite sufficient, you know.
Oh yeah. You'll get a turret. Yeah, the Wii game is turret. I like that.
Yeah, it's all that befits us really. Either a turret or a corner in a nice dungeon somewhere that's not too damp. But no, they are lovely.
Most people came into the hobby probably through a fantasy.
Yeah, well, it was the big thing.
Something like that. It's everybody's first love, mainly.
Yeah, well, at one point it was all there was.
Yeah, true.
You know, science fiction was but a thing of fiction.
Yes.
Now, we have a lovely picture up at the minute and nearly getting this timing thing down pat. That, of course, is Peter from the university.
He's Peter, I love him.
Yeah, lovely bloke. Telma was asking for him. But, of course, the latest news is that you have completed the survey of the 200 plus cards for Fantasy TV.
237 profiles. Yeah, since lockdown started, me and Pete would be getting together every weekday for a couple of hours and just going through reviewing all the stuff that the students did. That was the first big job. We divided that many between them all, and they all wrote that. So we go through reviewing all them, and we finished this week. We ran out of words by the end of it. We used all of the adjectives in the world to describe some of the special effects. We have one left. It nearly killed us. But we got that done. So yeah, they're looking. What's Justin doing? When's the next 12 hour
When's the
challenge?
next 12-hour challenge?
We're just going to talk about hats
Yeah.
and toys. We could easily do that. We could fill at least 13 hours with that without breaking sweat, couldn't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and funny enough, let us finish on one topic before we start another topic.
But anyway, yeah, so that bit's done. They're working on the perils next. I've got a little board in front of me with a load of stuff that we're doing next week. I've been laying out all of the accessory cards. So mainly gadgets, right? But we've got artifacts in fantasy. And for fantasy, I've commissioned Dave Needham to illustrate all of the cards. So that and the MacGuffin cards, so they've all got little individual illustrations. I've been laying out this week. I'll preview one of those next week because they're just gorgeous.
Sweet. So ballpark, when are we going to start seeing 7TV go? Start saving your pennies, boys and girls. It's coming.
Well, it is. In fact, we're slightly ahead of schedule. The plan is always to release it at the Expo in June 2021. So this time next year. Now we don't quite know what the world is going to throw at us between now and then. Now we can get together. The biggest thing we're going to get, which we're going to meant to start in September, was play testing all of these profiles. That's why we've been getting them already. So we've got everything ready to test and play. But we don't know if the students are going to be able to get together for any length of time to actually do that. So that might have a slight impact. But at the moment, we're still running to June 2021.
Okay. Well, we can but keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best in these things.
Yeah, we're getting so that'll have what are there? About over 200 profiles in it, artifacts, MacGuffins, peril cards, spell books. Spell books in there as well for the new magic system. And it's the other thing Dave's finished off this week, coloured templates. So we've now got a wider range of templates, like glass templates and stuff like that, for the different spells. And again, they're all fully colour illustrated as well. And they're beautiful.
Class.
So it's going to be a really, really nice box set, I think.
Now, every one of the editions of 7TV has managed to pay homage. Or as I like to say, narrowly skirted the sea of copyright with what it's done. What kind of flavors can the boys and girls and anything else expect to see in fantasy TV that might kind of go, oh, I remember that. That looks very like the guy from Karl.
You've got a brooding barbarian, you've got a callow youth, you've got a malevolent sorcerer, you've got a vile necromancer, you've got a valiant royal in there. They did a load of research on fantasy in there, and particularly with the villains, they kind of fall into three groups. You get your tyrant king, which we've got. You get your evil wizard, sorceress kind of type, and then you kind of get your horde leader, and then everything else is just a slight derivation of them, really. But they were fun to write. So there's loads of those in the profiles. There's loads of stuff. There's the genres that we've picked out are pen and paper fantasy, so your core D&D sort of stuff. Epic fantasy, which is your Lord of the Rings, Elric kind of stuff. Mythic fantasy, which is more your Norse, Greek, monkey myth kind of stuff. In there, historical fantasy, which is your Arthurian bits and pieces, your Romans, that kind of thing. I always get folk tale. So that's a slightly more. It's not Disney really, but it's kind of you're good.
Cuter.
A little bit, yeah. And the other one, and sword and sorcery, which is your classic sword and sandals, big master Conan.
I literally watched your head struggle to try and remember that.
Every time I can remember them at the beginning, and then I get to four, and then I forget the last two. So you've got a broad breadth of everything in there, and there's loads and loads of extras. So there's your classic monsters in there. So you've got your giants and your dragons, and your chimera and all of those kind of bits and pieces. You've got your dungeon vermin stuff as well, and then you've got various flavors of soldier in there. We've got much broader kind of minion sets
Cool.
in it. Loads of wizards as well, because that's the new magic systems in there as well. So there's a good range of those, from hedge wizards to herbalists to all sorts.
See that's pushing buttons now, because I'm feeling vibes there when you suggest things like that. I'm sort of seeing sort of Terry Pratchettisms creeping into that too.
Yeah, there's a Jabberwocky in there as well.
Brilliant.
It's one of my favourite films, Jabberwocky.
It's class.
Right.
Now, that's an interesting point, because I recall when we chatted about Pulp TV, and
Yeah.
that was the university team's first sort of real big crack for you. But you literally had to educate them on what the hell Pulp TV was.
Yeah, they had to sit down and watch all of those cliffhanger.
Why do these programs not have colour?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
it's just weird, because you see the shadow of those shows is cast long in a kind of all broadcast TV, serialized TV in there. But you try to go, look, it's Indiana Jones. You must have seen Indiana Jones, and most of them have kind of seen that. It's not that with fantasy. Most of them, again, came into the hobby from reading fantasy novels or seen shows. So the shorthand was already there. So that was a little bit easier, I must admit.
It was just getting the detail into them and making them go and watch some of those forgotten classics. Yeah,
well, again, we've kind of pitched this as this is sort of 80s fantasy. So it's the VHS era of the kind of, of Beastmaster and of Conan. That's where this sits in there. And we take a couple of liberties here and there just to make sure that we can get some like the favourites into it. But,
yeah, because if Rutger Hauer isn't in this range of figures, you have failed me.
Yeah, only on that.
Yeah, exactly. Wielding swords. No, that's kind of awesome. No, cool stuff. Well, you know that we're 100% behind you on the whole fantasy vein. To try and sort of, because I'm looking at the time thinking we need to be wrapping up shortly, because you've got your thing. But one of the things that I want to hark back to now on the secret base, it's not a complaint, and I know that Justin and I have thrown a number of ideas at you, several of which, for the first time ever, you actually went, that's a really good idea, and appeared to almost take note of those ideas. Almost take note of those ideas. I did say appeared. But the only sort of bugbear I have post the secret base is the doors.
Right.
Okay. No, it's not a bugbear. Sorry, it's not a bugbear. It's an observation. The secret base is fantastic. I cannot stress to the boys and girls out there enough just how good the secret base is. Yeah, if you want a bigger play area, you're going to have to get a couple of base sets until he brings out the rest of his expansions and all the rest of it. But as a playable space with a fair degree of changeability to it, and if you use the prison cell and the shooting range, it adds a bit more to you as well. And if you incorporate outdoor spaces, this is the prisoner's fault. I'm seeing outdoor spaces inside being involved. My only bugbear is the doors, because the doors very much tie the building to one thing.
Yeah.
One style, one genre. It is one type of place. And of course, if you were going to get mileage out of your secret base by in one game it being your good guys' headquarters and another game it being your bad guys' kind of headquarters, you're still sitting with the one door. And all I was thinking was, since the doorways come in three forms, would it not be a practical and easy matter to do a set that is the required number of doors for the secret base as it exists, but with a variation of doors?
Yeah, could do that. That is a very good idea.
I'm scared to say it. No, but one of the reasons that actually brought it more to mind was the set designer.
Yeah.
Because the set designer, there's a number of the walls that you can probably, they've already got doors on them, but I don't have it here. There's a great sheet that is filled with doors, double doors, garage doors, and all that. And all I sort of thought was, it would be lovely to have, like in the small walls, they're single doors, and in the bigger walls, they're those double doors to actually make use of the set designer so that you could use those garage doors and those little cupboard doors or room doors or whatever to full value. There we go. That's all I was going to say. It's not really a criticism. It's just a suggestion.
No, you're right, because it themes it to that. Have I shown you the bigger blast doors?
You did show me the bigger blast door. And I believe I threw also out the idea that your lovely big shark tank could also become a big window to make the base underwater.
Right. That was an excellent idea. So you've got the someone's very eager to get in contact with you today. They're buzzing away.
They really are, and since the number isn't saying fire or anything like that there, nor the text suggesting your credit card's been declined, I'm not that worried.
Doors. Well, we've got the bigger one. There's one that's a good. It almost looks like it could be kind of an underwater door because you can see kind of straight through it. But that was about that long, I think, that Gary produced. But a single sheet of differently themed doors, so they wouldn't even have the.
Wouldn't even have that. It would be straight doors.
Yeah.
Because on my head, all I'm thinking is, right, say you want your set to be Star Trek.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all you need there is you build your wall, but it's still straight, and you use the doors that go slide, 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 slide. So you've got one set of doors. Or if you want it to be the garage doors, you've got one big bit. And yeah, okay, you're still going to lift them out of the wall to open them. But it's a game.
Just put a different design on some of those bits. That's easy enough.
But I'm just thinking all the doors can remain as drop-in, drop-outs.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares that it's a garage door and it should open like a concertina, but I'm lifting it out so that the miniatures can go. Because I think we're all used to in games. I mean, in a lot of the board games, you get a closed door and you can replace it with an open door.
Yeah.
I quite
like the idea. That the Star Trek one's probably a good idea as well.
Well, it would be the same idea because you would still have your slot where the square door would go in. Yeah. And, you don't even have to have them open them, but you could literally do a version where it's the closed double door and the open double door.
I've seen someone that actually had a little device within the MDF that allowed them to slide open.
That's just insane.
Yeah, no, it was. It's a cute little thing. But I'll have a think about that.
Yeah, I'm glad that you come to us for this. It's weird that we've had sensible suggestions.
I've always had sensible suggestions. I just don't normally get time to do anything with them. I've still got the lab, actually. I haven't done that yet. It's been mad.
But there we go. No, so that was that. And I think we've literally cycled through all the photographs. And the photographs I had purposefully included today to be kind of that agenda thing. So I'm just going to make the photographs vanish like that. There we go. Photographs gone. Well, they'll disappear for you in a second or two, but they've gone for me already. So that's yesterday's news. So there we go. You've got your big Zoom fun talk today.
I've got that minute.
Yeah, and I think there we go. We're at like 37, practically 40 minutes of tied down precision conversation. It almost felt like we were scripted.
It. For at least 7 minutes of that 40 minutes, we did exactly that. So I think that's a win.
Yeah, it's a bonus. We've improved the look. We've improved the sound. Folks, what more do you want, really?
Just quality content. That's all they're asking for.
And that's not what they're getting. But they're getting us, and that's enough for them.
Oh, dear.
Tune in next week where we'll be talking about toys. In fact, you know what? We'll just be doing what we normally do. But we'll have also found something very particular about 7TV to talk about, so you at least get one small 5-minute segment of useful information.
We'll flag that on the timeline.
Yeah. Useful information now. Right,
my darling. A lovely day.
I won't.
You won't. No?
I'm just saying I won't. But thanks for the offer. It's greatly appreciated. It gives the illusion that you care.
By the way,
yeah.
I've just every now and again, your little dunder bit just floats up. It's very nice.
Because of my bad back,
this is going to end.
I wasn't my Judge Dredd t-shirt, but because of my sore back, I was quite cold. No one can see it, but I've got big cushions at the base of my back to keep my bottom of my back warm. And when I put this on, I psychologically feel better. But I know that when we finish and I go to stand up, it's going to be, not good. I'll just sit here a minute longer before I move.
Relgex, deep heat, something like that is what you need.
I've got ibuprofen in me and a Voltarol gel on me. We should really charge for advertising. And remember, 7TV is brought to you by Diet Soft Drink.
Oh, dear.
Hey,
Right.
before you go, there's something else. We've got our fictional television network in obviously the form of the 7TV studios.
Yeah.
Going to have to start bringing in like little reoccurring products or companies that kind of span all the genres.
Product placement in the background.
Yeah, but made up ones for the 7TV universe.
Yes, I like that. I know a man that would be all over that actually.
Yeah, but that'd be quite cute to see, like, 1960s versions of it appearing in like pulp TV, and then like the futuristic sort of high tech version in Spy-Fi and stuff like that. I think that'd be class. And then you could do T-shirts.
I need to do T-shirts for years and years and years, like of the TV shows or just 7TV studios or whatever.
Yeah.
1,000. It's forever I've been doing that. We've been talking about doing it, and I've never got time to do it.
Oh, dude.
Merch.
Yes.
Everyone likes a bit of merch.
Everyone loves the merch.
Yeah,
We could help you because Justin and I and Simon have an awful lot of spare time. we can become
that kind of stuff.
We can become the official merchandisers for 7TV.
I'll talk to you about that later.
Not a problem. Right, off you go, young. I'll tell you what, let's do it together. Let's give them the end credits. Folks, we have enjoyed talking to each other today. We've enjoyed you being there.
We very much enjoyed each other.
Yes, deeply. And that's all we've got time for today. So it's goodbye from him, and it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.